Hi, my name's Neil and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a 45-year-old skateboarder who's been learning to skate all over again after taking a 25-year break. I've now been skating for about 6 years, and recently in my videos I've been going through the previous year and reviewing my progress month by month. This video is covering October 2023, so let's take a look. This first session that I recorded was at one of my favourite skate parks, which is Crystal Palace in South London. I go there quite a lot, and if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you'll see that this is probably one of my most regularly visited parks when the weather is dry. It's an outdoor park, nice smooth concrete, and what's best about it is that it has a pool with pool coping, and that's pretty much the only thing I skate at this park. But yeah, it's pretty much my favourite place in London to skate. Now obviously one big reason I love this place is because of the pool coping. I just love doing 50-50 grinds on this pool coping. I love the sound it makes, I love the feeling. And I had previously kind of built up courage enough to start doing the 50-50 grinds in the deep end of this pool. It's got about half a foot of vert, which is pretty much the blue tiles up to the coping, and it's big enough to be practicing on to get used to skating vert and just bigger stuff. Obviously concrete is a little bit more scary than the wooden ramps, but it's also more grippy, so you've got a bit more of a confidence factor there. But I've been doing 50-50 grinds on that deep end for a couple of years now, but I don't do them every single time I go. Sometimes I'm just not quite feeling the confidence to be doing them, and I actually kind of lost them for quite some time, probably about, I don't know, a year and a half, maybe 2 years since the first time I did them. And I was determined that once I started doing them again, I would keep doing them to get comfortable. So the footage I recorded from this session was really just throwing myself at some 50-50 grinds in that deep end again and doing a few to get comfortable. I bailed the first few because I need to feel comfortable going at that speed and getting the lock in just right and getting yourself standing up just right. All kind of builds into the fear factor. If it doesn't feel quite right, I'll get off. I just have no desires to be slamming and something like that, so I get off if it just doesn't feel quite right. So yeah, let's take a look at that footage and you'll see, you know, a few goes, and then I was getting the 50-50s, and then I thought I would try and stay in the deep. So I'd come in, do one grind, and then try and loop back round again and just do some backside slashes. Ultimately, I want to be doing multiple 50-50s in that deep end. So I want to come up, go round quite far round, and then go back in and give myself enough to go around and do a second one and maybe even a third. But I think my second one will be the exit out and up the waterfall again. So yeah, this session was all about 50-50s, and I did some in the shallow end as well, and I had a few goes at getting some rock and rolls in that shallow end, which again, come and go. I've done a few, I sometimes don't make them, but again, I just want to be getting more and more comfortable with doing the rock and rolls in the shallow end to eventually work towards getting them in the deep end. So let's check that footage out now.
Out the top. I couldn't get out. Double one.
was feeling pretty good by the end of that. I was glad with how things were going and that I was not scared to be keeping on doing those 50/50s in the deep end. Sometimes I'll get one or two and then I'll think, okay, I've pushed my luck enough. Don't try and push it too far. But actually, I do need to be just doing more and more to be more comfortable and to get them right every time. So anyway, that neatly takes us on to the next session, which was on the Vert ramp at Caterham in Surrey. And that's kind of in the same sort of area as this Crystal Palace Park, just a little bit further south, just outside London. This tends to be the most regular vert ramp that I go to, which is about once a week. Not really enough to be progressing on vert, and I'm kind of more and more aware of that as time goes on. But once I'd got those 50/50s at Crystal Palace, I went back and tried to practice them more on the vert ramp. And if you've been watching the past few videos of this year, you'll see the reoccurring theme that I am desperately trying to make my 50/50s on the vert ramps more regular. I spend a lot of the session getting onto them and then bailing off again. And it's exactly the same situation as I was saying about the deep end of that pool, where I get onto them and if something doesn't feel quite right, I'm going to bail off of it. I've had plenty enough attempts of going back in when it didn't feel quite right, which have resulted in, well, I'm sure you can imagine, some quite uncomfortable slams. So I really do have to feel super comfortable before going back in. This time of my life, I'm not going to be putting up with pushing myself to the point where it's likely that I'll have a bad slam, because I just am not going to be able to take them as well as a young kid. It takes best part of 6 months to heal from any kind of injury when you're this kind of age, and whereas it's like 6 weeks for a kid. I'm just not up for that, and I prefer to feel super comfortable and do things well. I also think that it makes you look more relaxed in your skating if you're confident and do it well, rather than just about getting away with it. That just, to me, leads to sketchy skating, and I don't like the look of sketchy skating, but that's just my preference. So as you'll see, I'm hammering away at these 50/50s again. I get a few, but I'm acutely aware that once a week is just not enough to progress enough with the vert skating. But anyway, let's go and check out that footage. All right, the next session was back at Crystal Palace again. Quite good weather for being the end of summer. So, you know, we have to get as much in as we can in this country because we only have maybe 3 months of possible good weather. And those days are very broken up. So any sunny day, you're going to find me at Crystal Palace. This session was much like the first one, lots of 50-50 practice. So I got some in the deep end and then a little bit of work in the middle pocket. It's a kind of steep pocket for such a low height, but it's, you know, really tight and whippy, and so I try and do the 50-50s there as well. But mainly I was working on trying to get some more regular, what I would normally be doing in mini ramps, trying to do that kind of stuff in the shallow end. So rock and rolls were really kind of on the menu for this. I did try a couple of board slides as well because I want to probably start doing some rock and roll slides there sooner or later. Rock and rolls, I just had to get one at least because they just weren't feeling quite right turning out. The ones that I did turn out, I sort of nose dived and fell off the front. You know, some of them I just couldn't even turn out. I think my feet were slipping, just all kinds of excuses. So anyway, let's take a look at that footage.
I'd like. Dude, probably
Alright, so that's part 1 of the October video. There will be a part 2, possibly a part 3. October was quite a busy month for sessions, so I'm spreading them out across a couple of videos. So yeah, that's part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 that will be coming soon. As ever, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for your support. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you're working on, and I hope to see you again very soon. Cheers, take care.